When I say that receipts were dropped, I mean that Jock threw the entire pot, the kettle, and the stove, in addition to spilling the tea because guess what? Scrappy was allegedly riding with Kendra the entire time, the man who ruins relationships. Like it's his day job, Lil Scrappy is right. The same Scrappy who made a firm vow that he was only Kendra's friend. The hotel receipts and those leaked messages, however, paint a different picture. Jock is seeking retribution, the internet is on fire, and Kendra let's require a lawyer and a public relations team. Where is Scrappy? He has completely disappeared, which makes everything seem 10 times worse. What receipts does Jock have, and why has he chosen to drop this bombshell now? Let's start. So, just when we thought that young Jack had finally found his groove as a good guy sitting in his barbershop and giving life advice like Steve Harvey, he dropped a bomb so dirty that even the producers of hip-hop and love were shaken. Additionally, this is not your typical reality TV drama. Rather, it is betrayal on a whole other level, comparable to Shakespearean backstabbing while sporting a Gucci belt. Do any of you remember when Jock's wife Kendra Robinson was out there telling the public that she was too nice for Jock's past, mentioning that she is a lawyer and avoiding the silliness? Meanwhile, Jock appears on every podcast ever to try to convince everyone that he has changed, which is all, but it turns out that Sis may have had some secrets of her own while Kendra was busy mocking Jock's crazy past. Those skeletons also have on Lil Scrappy's chain. Yes, you hear me, Scrappy? The same Scrappy who was out here crying over Bambi and declaring his desire to reunite with his family behind Jock's back? He was ostensibly playing family with Kendra. To make sense of it. As you are already aware, money transfers are like leaving your fingerprints at the scene of a crime in the world of celebrity controversies. However, since Jock is not just seeing a few messages, let's talk about these communications. No, this was a completely different degree of contempt. The reason Jock found out the truth was not through gossip or even sloppy group talks, but rather through cold, hard receipts that stated that Jock allegedly obtained hotel reservations, text conversations, and even some financial transactions that showed Scrappy and Kendra were much closer than they should have been. I don't regret anything, Scrappy, because you always knew where my heart was. I'm sorry, Scrappy. You cried about wanting Bambi back for the entire previous season, sir. Now we're talking about hearts and regret. Oh, what a professional blunderer this is. It gets worse, according to another message. I hate sneaking around like this. We deserve to be happy, so Kendra might as well get her lawyer's badge and go straight to divorce court. The strange part comes next. This tea wasn't even what Jock was looking for. Yes, exactly. He wasn't even a detective out here, according to the account he wrote. Received these receipts anonymously. Imagine trying to run your small barbershop and going about your usual business when you suddenly get screenshots of your wife and your friend acting as though they are in a situationship. The real question is, however, who sent the receipts? Because if there is one thing we know about the drama in Hollywood, it is that leaks are not accidental. Someone wanted to tell joke about this, and someone wanted the world to know about it. What does that mean? Do you know that one of the crew members is a snitch? Let's analyze logically. Someone close to Kendra and Scrappy must have known and disapproved if they were really out here being cunning. We could now spend the entire day speculating about who it was. But as you are undoubtedly aware, there are rumors that Bambi might be involved. Yes, it was Scrappy's ex-wife Bambi, who was played repeatedly before she left. You see, I'm not disputing that she leaked it, but I'm also not disputing that no one else could have access to Scrappy's messages, and who else could be so self-centered as to make sure that Jock was degraded by this mess? Scrappy was a chronic line stepper, as Bambi had been telling us, but this is a serious offense, and if this is true, then Scrappy is at fault. Wasn't just out there ruining his own marriage, he was also out there posing as Jock's secret lover. You see, Jock is different. He's not one of those quiet guys who prefer to handle things privately. If you think that was terrible, you're not ready for what he did next, darling. Jock didn't keep this information to himself. Instead, he went straight to the internet and wept over it. I need you all to realize now how crazy this is. Usually, when you find out that your spouse is cheating, celebrities file a lawsuit, make vague statements, and then quietly move on. Well, Jock is petty, opted for violence because Jock started his podcast, went live on Instagram, and started leaking information as if he were getting paid per view within hours of receiving those receipts. He wasn't even trying to be classy about it. You see, I sent them my best wishes, but we should keep it private. This man was laughing and just dragging them both along. I was wondering why my wife was always so interested in Scrappy's love life. At one point, Jock said, "You are a PR team or something, girl?" It turned out that she was just keeping tabs on her own situation, and he went one step further because Jock did more than just criticize Scrappy and Kendra. I have enough receipts to prove that hip-hop and love are self-destructive. I will have to start dropping them if you keep running. Your mouths. He cautioned the entire company to keep him off the group chat if they had secrets. I see that baby Jock had time today, and this is just the beginning of this mess. If you thought Jock's revelation of them was crazy, social media went crazy. After young Jock revealed the shocking information, with every gossip blog, Instagram comment section, and convoluted group chat frantically trying to ascertain. As you can see, most people do one of three things when they find themselves in a situation like this. Keep quiet, let the drama fade, act as though they are being duped, play the victim, come clean, and hope that people forget about you. However, Scrappy made the worst choice of all, continuing to lie as if we hadn't already seen the truth. At first, people thought this was just another hip-hop and love hoax, some stage drama for the sake of ratings. But it was real, even though it was a personal matter. Instead of clearing his name, Scrappy looks nervous as he hops on Instagram Live late at night. You all recognize that look? Taking off his shirt and pacing back and forth while massaging his head as if he had just learned that his car had been repossessed. What does he say first? Well, let's start with the traditional justification of believing anything, sir. The internet is not the only source of this jock, who produced the hotel reservations, financial transfers, screenshots, and receipts. And it's not just any old Twitter rumor. We've been through too much, so he shouldn't be out here spreading false information. That is not something I would ever do to him. Kendra, who is married, you guys need to stop calling people names and making up lies. Let's be clear. Instead of apologizing and saying, "Hey, I made a mistake," he tried to fool the entire internet by saying, "We don't trust you." No one does because it is the problem. He has been careless in relationships before. Do you remember the day Bambi called him out on his repeated infidelity? This is the same man who was bouncing like he was in a relay race between Bambi and Shay Johnson. And Erica Dixon, what is the worst? Someone else was getting ready to spill even more tea while Scrappy was out here disputing everything. Can you guess who it is? Bambi's retaliation. Yes, today Bambi decided she had time since she had split from Scrappy. She had stayed silent and had already spoken out about his treatment of her and had distanced herself from him. But this was a personal matter after all. And if Scrappy was spying on Kendra while still begging Bambi to return to him, what did Bambi do? She posted this questionable little statement on Instagram stories. "I promise that no matter how many times you cheat and lie, it always does." If that wasn't enough, Bambi went live, laughed, drank something expensive, and looked flawless. This is the messiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Everyone. I felt like I'd seen it all. But this is who I couldn't be. Listen, Bambi was having a time watching Scrappy's life fall apart. And then she said the real dagger. Men like to appear stupid. But trust me, no one is lying to you or making anything up. If you did it, take a position on it. Boom, she just confirmed everything. Exposing him, and his own ex-wife is out here co-signing the drama. Scrappy is truly drowning Kendra, then talking as if things could get any worse. Kendra Robinson had been extremely quiet up until this point. No interviews, no posts. But when a scandal gets too big to ignore, the PR team has to step in. At last, Kendra released a statement in which she denied everything. Did she offer an explanation? Was she sorry? Nope, she made the most thoughtful, lawyer-approved statement ever. "I am not spreading false information, gossip, or hearsay, and I am in charge of my marriage." Thank you, girl. We all know that when someone says, "I am not involved in rumors," it shows that the rumors are true, and she took it off the internet. Twitter, TikTok, and the Shade Room said, "You did it, sis, and left for Scrappy. You ruined your entire marriage." Jock needs to have the children's DNA tested as soon as possible. What's the worst you know? Kendra was out here trying to contain the damage and watching this whole catastrophe unfold, while Kendra dropped her feeble statement and Bambi threw shade after witnessing Scrappy's deceit. Jock posted a video of himself laughing on Instagram without a caption. It was just Jock watching the circus while lounging and drinking tea, and honestly, Jock. The internet is going crazy as Scrappy drowns. Kendra avoids gunfire, and Bambi enjoys her tea, but this mess is far from over because young Jock decided to go nuclear just when we thought the story had peaked, and this was the final blow. Up until this point, Jock had been playing it casually, giving out clues, laughing on Instagram, and allowing Scrappy to dig graves. However, then again, Scrappy made a huge mistake. He went too far in his tirade on Instagram Live, dude. You guys love drama. Jock is not just a random guy who talks a lot. This guy has far too much knowledge. Jock took the mic that evening when he joined his radio program, and let's just say that he allowed everything to happen. It's ridiculous how men pretend to be victims when they are exposed. But let's be clear that I didn't say anything improper. If you want to act foolish, let's talk about the previous times you were out here acting carelessly. Discuss the real reason why your marriage failed. Let's talk about how you were crying in my direct messages after Bambi broke up with you. Both Scrappy and Jock had a ton of receipts, so there was no way out of this one for him. Then Jock used his ultimate power move and said, "If I was lying, why did you call me right after I said it? Why did you text me talking about what we need to talk about? If he's so innocent, why are you panicking for Kay?" Scrappy was unable to respond, he couldn't clap back, and the internet went crazy. The hashtag Scrappy exposed, Jock said what he said. And Bambi was right, started to gain popularity. Many memes and videos of Scrappy's previous romance and hip-hop fights were being circulated online, with comments like, "Bro, you had all this enthusiasm for other boys, but now you're quiet." Celebrities also started to reply saying, "I'm not sure how Scrappy got caught like this." MAO tweeted Suki Hannah White Charleston saying, "You look awful out here, boy. You've made too many mistakes, son. Find a place to sit." Then, out of the blue, Bambi stepped in. Bambi had already revealed Scrappy's deceit, but she had to add one more thing after Jock shared those texts. After 2 minutes of silence, she said, "Ladies, this is why you have to let a man embarrass himself." She didn't mention any names because everyone knew who she was referring to, and after all of this chaos, we must wonder who really won. So let's dissect this Scrappy loss terribly. He was caught snooping on Kendra and was made fun of by both his closest friend and his ex-wife. They lost credibility by trying to gaslight the internet, and even worse, Kendra may have lost her reputation as a morally upright lawyer for having an affair with Scrappy. I had to sit there for a while without really trying, but I got the last word, which showed that she had been right about Scrappy all along, and that she looked unconcerned, booked, and busy as they left Young as the biggest victor. In addition to exposing Scrappy, he destroyed him, and you relaxed, ending up looking like the only truth teller. Do you want to know the most ridiculous part? Jock didn't even have to apologize because, let's face it, he was right. Even though it was a flawless performance, people will always ask questions like, "Where is Kendra?" and "Girl, you got away with it." Every time Scrappy goes live, people will ask, "What about Kendra? She would better keep quiet for a bit." Because there is no turning back once the internet turns on, people will question whether Jock is telling the truth. Jock waited the right amount of time, said the truth, and then just watched as Scrappy destroyed himself. The only question that remains is who will be the next to be exposed, because this scenario showed that these reality stars are messy. The drama was crazy, but tell me, do you think Scrappy will ever get over this, or has his reputation been ruined forever? What about Kendra? Can Jock bring her back, or has it ended? I'm sure you all have something to say.